Hey there, this is Mrs. Colby, and I'm here to walk you through how to use Google Earth Projects. Google Earth Projects is a pretty cool new feature. It's built into Google Earth. It lets you make slideshows so that you can give an interactive tour of anywhere on Google Earth. Just to point out to you that because it's new, it only works right now on a Google Chrome browser, so you'll have to be on a laptop or a desktop. So if you're on an iPad, you can do something that looks quite similar to this using Google Tour Builder, and there is another tutorial for that on the project Google Doc. So let's get started. I have gone to Google Chrome browser and I've looked up Google Earth and I've clicked Launch Google Earth. It took me here to Rome because that's where I was searching last, but yours may be somewhere else on the planet. That is fine. You're going to come over here on the left and you're going to click on this Projects button. And you'll click create the very first time. After you've created your project, you can go to open and just look for it in your Google Drive right there. So I'm going to click create because this is my first time, and I'm going to say create project in Google Drive. And I'm going to give it a name. My project's on the Basilica of Maxentius, well actually Maxentius and Constantine. I'm just going to copy this because I have a feeling I'm going to be typing it in. You can add your description out or you can go back and add it later. It's either way. Much like a Google Doc, this is auto-saving every few seconds. Another cool feature is as you build out content in your Google project, your Google Earth project, there will oftentimes be these watch tutorial links, and it will pop up and give you like a 1 to 2 minute short tutorial on the thing that you are currently doing. So if you get stuck, pay attention to those watch tutorial buttons. Are really helpful. Under new features, these are the different things you can add to any given slide in your Google Earth project. So the first thing I'm going to do is just search for a place. As you can see, I was previously looking for this basilica. And it's going to kind of zoom me in a little bit. And there's the little red dot showing me that is the Basilica of Maxentius. So if that's what I actually wanted to add, I can actually click here to fly in, or I can just say, yep, that's it, add it to my project. Cool. You can change the title, so I'm going to actually make mine in Constantine because I am going to be just, in my project, I plan on talking about the Constantine era of this building. Constantine. And I am going to add it to that project. I can click save. I'm going to go back and edit it in a second, but I just want you to see what happens, how quick. Oh, I have a slide. That is a slide and I have all set. This little box here, by default you have one and they will automatically fill it with, usually it's from Wikipedia, so it's like a description from Wikipedia and a photo from Wikipedia. We can go in and edit and customize this though, and we're going to do that next. So, excuse me. I'm going to go over here and hover over this and click the edit feature. This is going to give me a lot of options. So right now, my information is coming from Wikipedia. If I click replace, I can change up the photo, or I can add multiple photos, or I can add a video. So anything that I want to appear like as a little pop-up in the right-hand corner, I can add it here by clicking replace. So I'm actually going to go ahead. I think for my first shot, by the way, there's a reason I would suggest always researching your tour first before you start finding photos, because it will really help you think about what slides you need and what will help tell your story. But if you don't know your story yet, it'll be much harder to figure out what slides will be useful to you. But for my opening shot, I actually want to talk a little bit about where it's located in the forum and the scope of this building within the forum. So what I thought might be helpful, and I actually saved this already, was a map. So I'm going to include a map overhead, and it has the basilica outlined in red. And I thought that that might be, if I tried to mimic that shot in Google Earth, it would be helpful. I find it kind of hard to tilt when I'm in 3D view, so if I'm going to click this and change it to 2D, and kind of drag it till it's about, this looks pretty darn close. I've got the Colosseum over here in the corner. Yeah. That's about right. Now I'm going to switch it back to 3D once I have it about where I want it. Zoom out a wee bit. Okay, this looks pretty similar to this. So when I have this shot the way I want it to start out, I'm going to click on this capture this view button. That will set the scene, if you will. So when it opens up the slide, this is the angle it will be showing up as. I can go in here, I can add text or a link. I can go in here and add an additional image or a YouTube video. If you have multiple pictures or videos, they're going to show up as like a little slideshow within a slideshow up here in the right-hand corner. If I don't want any information in that box, I'm just going to click no info box. But typically I think you'll have some. You can also change the color and the style of the little pin that's going in your location. So there's a lot of options in there. I showed you just now how to zoom in and just change your view. You can also use this to like customize the angle in the shot. All right. So I'm going to back out of here now that I'm all done with that one. But if I wanted to see it, I could click on present. And now this is what my first slide will come to. And as I'm presenting, I'll just go through each slide down here by using the arrows, or if I just want to jump to another one, I'll have a table of contents. What's neat is with each slide though, I'm not just stuck with this view. For every single slide, I can go here, I can zoom in, I can reset my view, I can change from 3D to 2D, I can drag, ooh, that was a little exciting. I can drag my little street view guy on top of there and see if there's a street view to go check out. So within each slide you have, as you're talking, you have some options to do. So that's kind of fun. All right, I'm going to talk, let's go back a little bit. Let me show you a little bit more of what you could do. If you don't want to have to go through the trouble of like guessing where the street view shots are though, and you want your presentation slides to be a little more organized and cut and dried, what you can do is actually add another slide that is, oops, just kidding. We'll go back here. You can add slides that are very specific pinpointed street view shots. So how do I do that? I just showed you how you drag your little guy onto the street, but you don't have to do it that way. If you just click on him one time so he's yellow, now you have everything that's in blue dots, blue lines. That means that there is a street view image that has been uploaded to Google Earth from there. So some tourist or some Google employee has uploaded a picture that you can use for your project. So I'm going to zoom in a smidge here on the Basilica. So here I have just a whole lot of different choices. So I'm actually going to go through and kind of click on these and see which views are the best views for my purposes. So maybe I want to get a street view shot of what this side of the Basilica where this opening is. I might want to see what that looks like. So if I click here, it takes it a second to load, but it'll get you in there into your street view shot and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is not, where is the Basilica? That's not the Basilica. But if you keep turning and turning, it is 360. And there it is. So now I have this kind of neat view of the scaffolding work. So let's say one of the things I wanted to describe was this side of the building. Or maybe I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the current restructuring and rebuilding that's going on. I could use this shot to tell this story. So how do I get this into my slideshow? Well, once I've zoomed in and I've got it the angle I want it to be, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Now when it's all set, I just have to come down here and just say capture this view. Give it a name. And now I have a new slide that's zoomed in of this street view. Once I'm in the presentation mode though, I can still drag and talk and move it around. That's all still options I have. And just like with the other shot, I have this ability to go in and edit. So maybe I wanted to add an image of what it looked like at the time. Maybe there's an artist representation of what it looked like. Let's take a look. Maybe somebody's got a cool shot here. or just rendering, if you will. Oh, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you will just find the image that you want to compare. Particularly with the tour of ancient Rome, I think this is a really valuable tool, this ability to kind of have a little picture in the upper corner that you can compare and contrast. This versus this is what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. A couple other cool things you can do. One new cool feature is, like, right now this is kind of getting lost in the I think this gets lost a little bit, so there's one neat feature that's called draw a line or a shape. This one's cool for a couple reasons. Let's say you were giving directions in your tour about, oh, if you're staying here, you're going to walk down this street over here and cross at this crosswalk and then go down here and enter here. You could draw the pathway so it's highlighted in a color so you can see it. Or maybe you wanted someone to get the sense of, no, really, this building is just so huge. You could draw the outline of how big it actually was. So I could say it went from like here, here, here. I'm not doing a tremendously awesome job here, but you get the idea. Square footage. And it draws a somewhat good yellow line around it, and from different angles you can see the yellow line. But it kind of highlights your location and makes it simple to see from a distance which view we're talking about here. Okay, so now you know about how to search for a location to add it and change the view, the default view of what you see. You know how to, oh, I didn't show you a place mark. Let's say, okay, well, let's say, zooming in a little bit, I wanted to put a place mark right there on that location. I could do that. Oof. New feature, add place mark, and I'm going to stick that place mark right there. I don't know what you, courtyard. You're going to do a much better job of giving it names. I just wanted to give you a sense of the things that you can do here. And then I did show you how to use the draw the lines. Full screen slide that's a useful one for your opening slide. So let's say it's just a still photo and you wanted it to take up the whole screen. You could pick a picture of Rome or the Basilica. I don't know. Anything you want to be like your home page. And by the way, that Google search is only searching for images that you're legally allowed to use without asking for permission. So you don't even have to worry about that kind of stuff, which is kind of great. Maybe this is my welcome to my tour slide. But that's not in the right order, so I'm just going to grab it and drag it and drop it, which is kind of neat that you can, yes, you can drag and drop. There you go. And you can drag these into any order that you want them. So certainly that is essentially, though, the basic tools. So that the final thing that you're going to do is when you have it all set, you've compared and contrasted with photos and videos, overlays, you put in all the slides that you need, and you know what you're going to say, you're ready to present. So what can you do? If you wanted to share this with a teacher, you could click this little share button. Looks just like Google Docs. This is actually, this up here is if you were working with a partner and you both wanted to work together, you could click their name right there. You can also just get the link to share so someone can watch your presentation. But that's not going to have your voice and everything in it. So if you wanted to actually just present live, like if you were in class and you're presenting to your peers, you could just click the present button like you would with Google Slides and start your presentation and begin talking. Wow, I picked a terrible picture, y'all. Don't pick the ones that have this watermark. It looks not very profesh. But you do get the sense of what it means to do the full size. That's your welcome slide. Okay, and then you're just gonna, just like Google Slides, you're just gonna arrow through each slide. And again, each slide you can zoom in and out and use 2D and 3D views. You're not just stuck with that one shot. Okay, so what happens if we're in a remote learning scenario and you can't exactly present to your whole class? Well, here's the cool thing. You can actually screen record, just like I'm doing here in this tutorial. You can screen record your presentation. You'll just hit present and use a screen recording tool, and I have some in that Google Doc explaining this project. There's a bunch of different tools you can use to screen record your project. Then you have a great little video of your tour, and it's interactive and it uses Google Earth. And it's relatively simple. So if you have any questions and or you get stuck and need some help troubleshooting, please don't hesitate to reach out.